Hello, everyone. Welcome to our mobile order entry application webinar today. We've got quite a list today of applications we're going to be displaying, and so I would like to dive in. As always, to all future or previous webinars, feel free to chat with us or unmute yourself simply and let us know if you have any questions. But we're going to just dive right into the first application. So the first order entry application we are going to show, the first series are going to be our iSolution series. So all of these are going to be displayed today over an iPhone or a tablet. So the first one you should see on your screen right now is a big order entry, and this is a customizable customer solution. So what that means is if you wanted an online ordering solution or an app solution from the App Store to download, you can simply do that. So for this example today, right, from an app store, from the App Store through the iTunes series or through the iApp Store, you would simply go into the App Store, you would type in your name or the series that the name that we would set up your application for, and any of your customers could then download it directly from the Apple Store. Okay, so the one that we're going to look at to display today and to be going through today is the John's Food Service entry application. So the first thing that your customers will see is obviously a delivery date. They're selecting the delivery date. They're going to be entering the product when they'd like the product to be delivered by. They then enter their customer information, so their password and their login, their 4-letter user ID or their 6-letter user ID, depending on what they have set up within the Visual Produce ERP. And then they are given either their contract menu, again, as we mentioned, talked about on Monday, that contract menu being the contract items that you have specifically for that customer, right? So if it's a government contract, if it's a school, they will only see the items and the pricing that you have set within that specific contract. If you've allowed this customer to see all items, that's all the items they will see. They will see every single item that you currently have marked as resellable or ready to sell. So we'll go ahead and select some items in here. Maybe they'll like some blackberries. So we'll go ahead and a price will show up. You'll also see they can also order different units of measure. And as you toggle between those different UMs, all of those will appear, the different price. So we've got a 12 count, we've got a small case, we've got 1 pint here of blackberries. Normally they come in that 12 count case, but if they wanted to buy 1 pint or whatever sellable unit of measure you are selling in, that's what we'll display with their specific price. So maybe grab 6 of those. I can go ahead and easily save that item. Maybe I'll scroll down, grab some onion scallions. Maybe we want 1 bunch of onion scallions. So I'm going to get 4 1 bunches of onion scallions. You also have a wonderful search feature just up here at the top for your customers. So if they just want to search and just grab maybe some pineapple, or they're looking for a specific brand, they can search within anything and it will all encompass search feature to get just everything that you've got within that item description. So we'll go ahead and grab maybe some pineapple golden here, some golden pineapple 6 count coming in at $16.21. We'll grab 5 of those. And perhaps let's get some bananas. Bananas are pretty popular. Maybe a 40-pound case. We're going to buy maybe 3 of those 40-pound cases. Now, what you also here see on this right-hand upper side of the device is that the customer can display item notes. So if they're wanting to tell you a specific factor about that item, maybe the pack size, maybe the packaging material that you want them to utilize, they simply click on item notes. They can enter their comment in. Please make sure it's well sealed, or please seal with solid wrap. They can put in any kind of comment, and that will appear then in your system as an invoice item. So an actual invoice line item and as a picking ticket line item. So when the warehouse gets that production, when they get this order, they'll also see that display then. So we make sure to get it right for the customer. But they're handling their input. You can see down here at the bottom, we've got a summary information, customer information, subtotal information, any taxes if you are actually utilizing taxes with these customers. Not common in the produce industry or to B2B, but depending on that customer setup, taxes will accrue. Again, the delivery date that they've ordered, they can change their delivery date if they want to. So they just simply go back and change that date. And then their order total. So once they have selected all the items that they're ready to process today, there are two buttons, either up at the top or in the right-hand bottom corner, where they can say review order simply. You're gonna go ahead and review that order. It's gonna pop up all the line items that they have input, and you'll also see for that banana, we did have a little note there. It notates, then we've got a little notepad there on that line item number 4, informing them that they have a little note here that they input for bananas 40, for the 40 pounders. They want to make any changes at this point, they simply select those items. So they'll select any of the items here, make their changes, delete items. They can go back, add new items. They can also add their purchase order number. So again, customers typically have their own specific PO number. So they're going to go ahead and put that in. And they can add complete comment orders as well. So if they have, again, a lot of notes, a lot of comments where the customers can add their specific information that they want to communicate to you on this order. So once you're ready, there are two selections. You either just select number 3 up at the top, or you press the save order there at the bottom. Either way, get you to the same place. And important, would you like to save the sales order? Confirming the sales order, and the sales order is then immediately submitted into the ERP. So since everything is integrated, everything is one solution, all connected to one data source, order number 252670 appears immediately in your ERP, either as a live order, again, that's your order setting if you want it to be ready to go, ready to automatically send down to the picking ticket floor, or you can then actually have it set up come in as a bid in the ERP if you would rather have the team review that order before sending it down to the floor. So then from here, your customer can just simply start a new order and it'll go back to the top, and it'll still stay logged in as their portal. But if they do log out, there's the little log out button here where they can simply log out and then enter away. So that is the first order entry application we wanted to display. Again, this is the customer specific customized order entry application where your logo would appear and your customers would be able to download this from the App Store directly. The second application that we're going to dive into is our sales order entry application. So this is also in the iSeries. This is also within the Mac sphere. But this is specifically for your internal team's sales personnel. So you're going to see a little bit different information in this than the customer would see, right? So your sales team can simply log in. Again, this uses the same login and the same privileges that you have within Visual Produce's ERP system. So if you have a series of, let's say, salespeople that, sales orders by salespeople by department or salespeople by region, you can also we can have the app only show the salespeople within that customer salesperson's region. So they would then select their customer. Again, they can search by up here at the top if there's a specific customer they're looking for, or simply use the scroll feature. We'll go ahead and order for Amerifresh. All of the customer name, again, this is the customer that your salespeople would be entering the system for. So it's like they're creating a sales order, they're just creating it on a tablet or an iPad or an iPhone. If address information was populated, such as Ambrosia Foods up here at the top, that information will pull through, as well as contact information for this customer. PO number, also extremely important. They can just go ahead and type that in. It's numeric and alphanumeric, so they can do either. They can select the date, the order date, so it will default again to your system's order date information. So if you do have our cutoff time is at noon, we're going to switch to the next day, then that same information will be honored within the application. So they can select their order date. You can also select the location, again, of where this sales order is being placed from, where you want this to ship to. So for our customers that are multi-location, you simply select that location and can then determine where you want that product to be delivered from. The routing information will also pull through here on which route this customer is set up to deliver on. So today that's Route 100. Again, ability for you to add, edit comments. If there's anything the salesperson wants to notate specifically for this customer and this order, they can do it here. And then they go on to our second line item, which is adding items. So there's a couple of features that are really, really nice features that we want to show you in this add items selection. The first is, again, you're going to see all available inventory for this customer and that customer's specific pricing. So on the entry application, again, this is our menu view mode, where we're just seeing a pop-up of the item information, of our menu information, where we can then, in a really easy way, just go down the list and select our apples, select our asparagus, again, seeing the different units of measure, select some avocados, some carrots, and you can very easily then, in this grid style format, select and save the information to the sales order in more of an easier, friendly way to use. So you can just kind of go line by line without having to go item by item. Same flow that we had in the customer order entry application, where you're able to actually review the item, and where you're able to actually review all of the items that you have on this order. Again, at this point, you can make any changes if there are changes needed to the order. So maybe on the apples, they accidentally ordered a case, maybe they wanted to order an each. You can still save that line, save the 4 cases, or just make them eaches. So you still see your summary information, and you still see your delivery total and taxes, all of that at the bottom. One other important piece of information that I wish to show you, this is also privilege based. So if you want your salespeople to see the cost, they can also see the cost of the product as well as the inventory on hand. So this is different, obviously, from the customer's perspective. Some teams are actually showing, quantity on location to their customers, but some are not. But you definitely would want your sales personnel to see that information. So as they select an item in this customer's menu or in all of your inventory, they can see the quantity on hand, and they can see the cost of that product to kind of make sure that they're getting a little margin here on the pricing. So once you are done, we can review the entire order. And in the same fashion that we saved the customer sales order, we go ahead and save that sales order. Again, same process applies. You are given, the sales order personnel are given their sales order number for that purchase order number that they input in initially, and they can simply, and now the order has gone into the ERP, and they can start a new order for their next customer. So that is the sales order entry application. The final application that I wish to show today is our purchase order entry application. So this is then for our buyers. So it's a similar look and feel. Again, these are loaded only with your data. So this is only your internal ERP data. So your vendors will load through your vendor pricing. If you're using vendor menus will also pull through for those specific customers. And upon logging in, again, to your unique login set up within Visual Produce, you will have all the vendors displayed, and you can simply select the vendor that you wish to utilize. So we'll go ahead and grab maybe A&J Produce on the terminal market in the Bronx. Again, all of the vendor information will pull through and display for you. So you'll see the vendor name, you'll see the vendor ID, you'll see the vendor address, and you'll see the vendor phone number if we have a phone number actually set up within the system. If you do have a different pickup number for this vendor, you can select or input that pickup number here. Delivery date, you can select, this is the purchase order delivery date, so when you're expecting the PO to arrive or when you're needing the PO purchase order to arrive, and you can simply select a future date, or you can also go with the default date set up in the system. That on-site location, again, that's for where we want the product to actually be received to. So if you do have multi-location, you can set which product you actually want this product to be, which location you want this product to be received into. And once you've set your base information on the purchase order header, we'll add our line item information. As we can see, all of your line items will pull through. We'll maybe grab some Granny Smith apples. So the cost can be changed. The cost will pull through based on your average cost or your last cost of this vendor. So same as with the same information that you see within the ERP, just on the mobile version. So you can change that cost if you want to. If 38 is not accurate and we're more at 40 right now, you can simply change that cost. This is the cost that will be input into the system when the product is received. You can change your country ID. So again, the default information from that item, if it's defaulted to Mexico, the United States, Canada, the default country ID will appear, but you can also change that country ID and put in the actual location where the product's going to be received from. And the quantity ordered. So this is the purchase order quantity ordered. So maybe we're ordering 180 count cases of Granny Smith apples. And you can save that item. So now we'll go on to our next one, maybe some artichokes. 50, we'll do a 20-pound here. Maybe we'll grab 6 of those. We'll grab some bananas. Maybe at 25. Grab 10 40-pound boxes. Maybe some beans. Save that item. You can see then as I add product to the sales order, or excuse me, to the purchase order, you see the order total changing. So we are getting a total order here, and this is very convenient if you're on the phone with the buyer at that moment, right? Getting that order total. Again, same behavior that you'd see in the ERP. You still see the delivery date. You still see who this purchase order is for, which vendor. And when you're ready, you click the review tab. Again, you can make changes here if something on this purchase order does not look accurate, and simply save the purchase order. Same process applies. The PO will pull into the Visual Produce ERP system as purchase order number 2286. You can give this purchase order number directly to your vendor as it will not change. This is all within the same data structure. So that completes. We also have a few other sales or applications in our iSeries, in our within iPad or iPhone. If you have any, does anybody have any questions at this point of sales order entry applications that we would have from the iPhone or the iTablet? If not, we will transfer over to the Android applications. Very good. So we're now switching away from the tablet. We've got a lot of devices over here. So got a lot of different mobile devices. So forgive the little switch. So we are going to now be displaying, you should now see the Android tablet. So all of our applications now are available to download through the Google Play stores. So that's how we deploy each of the Android applications. Android applications that we will be walking through today are the delivery tracker, as you can see here, and our quality control application. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our QC application. The quality control application is designed for what it sounds like, but it's designed for when you're receiving product into the warehouse to be able to review the product that is coming in on purchase orders or loads. And so with the point of the quality control application is to go through your normal checklist, but in an app, in a tablet. And so the first thing, again, I'm already logged in as a user but your warehouse personnel would log into the device. The reason we've chosen Android applications for quality control and delivery tracker is primarily because they're just a little bit more affordable to switch out if for some reason there's an accident on the warehouse or there's something, you can get really sturdy, heavy duty cases and things like that. But if damage does occur, the Android tablets are a little bit, a little bit cheaper typically. So that's why we opted for the warehouse applications, delivery track, and the driver delivery applications. That's why we opted for these to be in Android devices. So your driver, so the warehouse personnel will log into the tablet. They can select the warehouse location. So again, if you have multiple warehouse locations, or they can select the location that they're receiving into. Obviously, right now we'd be in the quality control area within the warehouse that they can receive into, or select the different locations. Once they've logged in, they can double tap and either select the load this product is coming in on, or the purchase order this product is coming in on. So they can simply type in number 25, or they can select number 25. So once they've selected the purchase order that the application is coming in on, they'll see the vendor this application came in for, they'll see the trucking firm that this truck was either loaded to or this truck was hauled from. Arrival date, delivery date, and delivery time will be loaded as we capture the actual, as we confirm and say that we've actually delivered and received the product here. They can add a temperature of the truck. They can do PO entries on the fly, so that's why you see this add new PO item, where they can add to, surprise ads, as we often get on purchase orders. They can do a surprise ad where they're going to go ahead and add to that purchase order, or they simply can select the items. So upon selecting the item, the values or the variables that you have pertaining to that specific item will appear. So the variety, the label, the grower, the style, the size, the field, things specific to that specific product. So if you're recording blush, if you're recording sap burn, if you're reporting bricks levels, these type of fields will populate in order for you to then be able, for your warehouse personnel to be able to record these qualities specifically when they're doing the measurements when the product is being received. They can also change the count. So up at the top, if you received 10 or if you ordered 10 and you actually are only getting 9 cases in, they can, or pallets in, depending on how you're counting, you can change that quantity. They can add notes here that will populate later to the warehouse foreman in order to inform them, what actually occurred with the product. And then they can simply either type in the label. So if you've got specific labels that you have set up as rule lists in System Manager, these labels and these styles and these varieties can auto-populate. As you'll see, like when I go over to blush, if you have different percentages that you're recording on different, and you've got those set up as rule labels, we can have them actually come in as selectable grids that you can actually just select in rather than having to manually type them in. And we can also have different equations or algorithms from the application select. So let's say that you have an application where if you select 10 of sap burn and you select 10 second shoulder, you'll notice down here on the lower right-hand side, the quality B automatically appears. So if you have different products, or different algorithms where, when this equals this to get this, quality A, quality B, this compilation, then we can take care of those algorithms for you as well. You can also take pictures of the product, and these pictures will load directly into the purchase order or so that you can then record how did the product actually come in as. How did the product looked when we actually received it. So you can take pictures of that product, link it in, and then upon completion of the receipt, you can then accept that product, or of the quality control check, you can then accept that product for that line item. So again, you can then go on to the next item on those bananas. Again, same variety, firmness. You can PLU number, all the different varieties all the different metrics that you're needing to capture upon the quality control. That's what the app is designed for. So upon accepting that, there is a signature field for you to capture the signature of the quality control personnel. And that can be then later saved and filed so that if there is a discrepancy with how the product was confirmed, you have that on site and you have that within the system. And then you simply save and move on to the next purchase order. So now that I've saved that product, you see that PO 25 falls away from my list. And then they can simply select the next purchase order. So that is our quality control application. If anyone has any questions, feel free to chime in and let us know. We're happy to hear from you. And the fifth and final application that we would like to show to you today is our delivery tracker application. So the delivery tracker application is our electronic signature capture application that uploads all of your invoices, so all of your AR invoices for the drivers to take out and deliver on the tablet. So once your normal shipping processes still stand, you ship within Visual Produce, and then the drivers log in to the delivery tracker application. So each driver, their login information gets set up from within the rule table, within the System Manager rule table. And they can control their password. You can control their driver ID, but they can control their passwords. And you select the company. So if you have multiple companies, or if you just have one specific company, you can go ahead and select the company. And then they select the route that they're delivering on. So if they're delivering on JO, for example, if they're delivering on route 1, route 2 example, they select the route that for the orders that they are delivering that day. So then they log into the tablet, and all of their invoices for their specific route will pull through into the order. So they can then click on delivery, and delivery will pull up all of the current invoices that we have pending or that are out for delivery for this driver for this route. So we can simply select the customer for the order that we're going to be delivering. It'll pull up our payment terms, it'll pull up the customer name, it'll pull up our invoice number, our stop, all of that good stuff that is normally on the driver manifest. So this basically becomes an electronic driver manifest. And once they're ready to press start, once they're ready to start the order, they press start. So that's what actually activates the driver log for the VI if you have visual internet and you're wanting to actually display where the truck is in correlation for each of your customers. So once you've started the application, once you've started the delivery, there's a nice quick deliver all up here at the top, which will then fill in all of the delivered quantities. And it will fill in all of the delivered quantities to match the quantity that was ordered. So you then you see I ordered originally 5 56 count cases of Sunkist. I've got 5 now that I'm delivering. I originally ordered 3 25 pound bags of peaches. I'm delivering 3. But you can also change this if these quantities are different. So you simply click into that item. Maybe 3 weren't delivered, maybe only 2 were delivered. You can give a reason why the product wasn't delivered. Maybe it was a mispick, maybe it wasn't available, the product wasn't available, and press OK. And now you can see the delivered quantity will actually adjust. So we will get 2 on the delivered quantity now instead of the 3 that we had earlier. When all of your quantity and the delivered quantity looks good, we will say sign. The signature is ideally meant to capture the signature from the customer, but we do have customers that are changing their delivery order process right now, or their delivery process right now due to COVID. And so they have some kind of a generic signature that they've saved for their customers or COVID, or they're writing some kind of a generic signature so that they're informing that we did actually deliver the product, but the customer, in order to not touch the tablet and have a contactless or contact-free delivery, we have a different signature, or drivers are just wiping down the tablet after each use. After each customer, they just take a little wipe or sanitizing wipe, and then they go. Then they can hand the tablet to the next customer at the next stop. So once they have all the product delivered, they can press save and move on to the next order. So then again, we can select Freddie's Market. This is everything on Freddie Market's order. If we're ready to start the delivery, we press start, deliver all. We can change any one of these if there is a different order quantity outside of what was originally ordered. We sign and we save. There are different reports now, so you'll notice if I do this drop down up here in the right-hand corner, I can just see the product that I've delivered today. So the driver does get a record. And you'll also notice these little 3 dots at the end of the, so I'll go back to that, after status on the right-hand side, these little dots, that gives you more information on this customer. So it gives their more invoice information. So it'll give you their address, if they have any kind of delivery comments, if they have any kind of cross streets, or postal codes, different things like that, or gate codes that they need to be aware of. That all that information can display here in the little dots. There are also then reports at the end of the day. So some of our teams will actually, they will then, when they're ready to submit the tablet in to their managers, the managers will run the different reports so they can see what has the driver delivered, what's the difference between the delivered and the pending that we've got on the application. If they are out in the field and there's a problem with the connection, or you made a quick change to an invoice internally and you want that change to display for the customer directly to the driver, the sync application or the sync button, they can simply sync the data so that it blends seamlessly then with all of the accounting, with all the new invoice update information. And they can log out when they're done. So that completes our demonstration today. I hope all of you enjoyed it. If you do have any questions, again, we are just trying to keep these at about 30 minutes here. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to let us know. We're happy to answer any questions that you have and reach out to you. Either give us a call, shoot us an email. We hope everybody has a great rest of the day at the rest of the Expo Power Hours at the show. So thank you so much for attending.